Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them. Wave your hand to encourage them. As they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger. And they will rejoice when I am exalted.
There we go. Got some volume going. Katherine Albrecht here. Second hour of my second day on RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network. It is great to be here with you guys. I am actually streaming live on YouTube. If you want to check out Katherine Albrecht show on YouTube for the second hour. Had a little bit of difficulty the first hour, but we should be here. And I've got, for people who've been watching my YouTube stream, I've got some new cool stuff. I figured out how to build little, little screens during the break. And I might, if I pulled it off, even be able to play my 1 minute ad for Read the Book of Matthew. People who used to listen to my show back in the day before my 8-year hiatus know that I ran an ad on GCN every single day, every single hour that I was on the air, encouraging people to read the book of Matthew. And I don't know if I'd call it an ad because I'm not really selling anything other than the goodness of following the Lord and getting to know Him. But it is, I guess, a public service announcement. So I have taken that and I have put it to it. Will audio listeners will not be able to hear it, unfortunately. But if you go on YouTube, hopefully you'll be able to actually see it. I set it to a video of a waterfall. And it's my first foray into trying to do a little video announcement during the break. So check it out at Katherine Albrecht YouTube. While you're there, do me a favor and subscribe. If we get, I think it's 200 more subscribers, then we hit some kind of threshold that YouTube has, and that will be a good threshold to hit. So please do me a favor and hop over to YouTube. Even if you're listening to me online, hop over there. You'll be able to see some cool videos and other things that I'll be showing throughout the hour. All right, so this morning, well, first of all, if you missed the first hour, you can find it on my website, Katherine-Albrecht.com, under Radio Show in the archives. You can also find it at the Republic Broadcasting Network, republicbroadcasting.org, or RBN for short, but republicbroadcasting.org. You can go to my page there, and they have, I believe, links to all of my websites, realisgood.org and Katherine-Albrecht.com. And also, you will find on there the archives and the podcast, so you can listen to the first hour. For people just now joining me in the second hour, in the first hour, I was talking about the biblical mark of the beast, the message in Revelation, the warning that I received from my grandmother, and that each of us should pass on to our grandkids and to younger people today, and to one another, and encourage one another about not taking the mark of the beast, which is 666. I then talked about how I had ordered a special winter melon candy that I get every couple of springtimes. It is a candy that's only made during the Spring Festival or for the Spring Festival in China. And I looked up my order on Amazon and found out that the company that made it proudly has the number 666 in its name. And at the bottom had, and I'll read it again because it was so shocking. At the bottom of the product, it says, 666 means smooth, strong, successful, and lucky in China. Hello now, wish you good luck. And there is a heart emoji at the beginning and the end of that. And I have been talking in the first hour about how weird it is that the Chinese have taken the number 666, and in China, that number means way to go. Good job, bro. Like, do it looking good, or, you got this. That's all 666. That apparently that is a shorthand, a short way of saying thumbs up to people. And in the gaming community, which is now an international community, we've got literally millions of people playing shooter video games professionally. And, well, not millions professionally, but people play it professionally. It's now considered a team sport. They're talking about even putting it in the Olympics. I don't think that'll happen, but it might. That you've got people all over in this younger generation playing thousands of hours, tens of thousands, I don't know how many hours of video games, with people in China and other countries. And if you score, particularly good kill, then you will actually get 666 on your screen, meaning thumbs up, way to go. So the Chinese are putting it on t-shirts, they're putting it on their social media handles, they're putting it on advertisements. It's everywhere. It's here in my winter gourd. So when it comes time to put the 666 on the right hand of the forehead, like Revelation talks about, they won't resist it. Second thing is that the dragon is the symbol of China. Revelation tells us that the beast of Revelation will speak like a dragon, and it wouldn't surprise me if that meant it spoke Chinese. Would it surprise you if the world leader that would rise up to take over the entire world, which is the beast, or one of the two beasts of the end time, would be Chinese? Kind of makes sense. So the dragon, it's going to speak like a dragon, whatever that means, whether it's just going to speak blasphemous, nasty things against God, or whether it's going to speak Chinese, or do both, probably. Yeah. So, all right. What I want to talk about this hour is an article that came out this morning in the New Yorker. The journalist, Ronan Farrow, I was surprised to see what a great job he did, but I spent probably a good hour this morning reading a very long article on by Ronan Farrow on Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the guy in charge. He is the person who has led OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, to the multi-trillion, it's going up on $1 trillion company that it is. It has done all of that under Sam Altman's leadership. And what Ronan Farrow did, which I'm so impressed by, is he did the most incredibly in-depth, thoughtful journalistic piece. And he interviewed people. It's got the whole history. It's got everything. So if you've ever wanted to understand how the company, OpenAI, how ChatGPT poses a real threat to world stability, read this article. Sam Altman is, from all accounts that I've heard, and I knew this before reading the article, but this really drove it home, Sam Altman is a very squirrely man. He is a very untrustworthy person. He is a liar, to put it plainly. And he seeks at all costs to have power and control. This is the man who's in charge of the technology that threatens to wipe out humanity. And the article, I highly recommend you read it. I will post a link to it. Hang on. I'll post a link to it on my chat room. And let me tell you how to get there. Go to Katherine-Albrecht.com. And when the show is live on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, there is a listen live link where you can hear the show streaming on my website if you don't have another way to listen. But more importantly, or perhaps equally importantly, there is a live chat room, and so you can join into that live chat room. It is available for people to type into, and I oftentimes post links and other things in there. So please head over to the YouTube channel also, because during this break, which is going to come up in about 10 minutes here, I'm going to be playing some new cool stuff. So those of you who have followed me over from KHNC, I think you're going to enjoy seeing what's up there. And again, like and subscribe, do all those good things. Comment, say something. All right. So what does it mean that Sam Altman is an untrustworthy person? Well, in the midst of this article, there's a sentence in there. So many people are quoted in here. It gives you the history of how Elon Musk was one of the original founders of OpenAI. It tells why Elon Musk and Sam Altman, who are now competitors, and Elon Musk has sued Sam Altman, but it tells why for a period of time they were on the same team and founded OpenAI. And you should know this background. So if you know about open source software, open source is the software that the people control. At least that's the idea. So a good example is the operating system Windows. Windows operating system is created by Microsoft, which is run by Bill Gates. It has a board of directors, it has investors, it has stock, it has shareholders. It is beholden to the private market. So Microsoft, and the Windows operating system that runs so many computers in the world today are not open source. And what that means is that you cannot go in there and poke around in their code and read in the thousands of lines or millions of lines of code what it's doing at any given moment. The competitor for that is a free version that you don't have to pay for called Linux or Unix. Linux, and it has various flavors of Linux. That was Linus Torvalds, kind of in opposition to Bill Gates, came out with a free software that is also open source. And so if you are using Linux, it runs your computer the same way Microsoft Word does. And you can go in, if you know what you're doing, you can go in and you can modify it. You don't like the fact that it does this thing instead of that thing, you can actually change it because the code is open. That's what open source means. It's open, it's available to look at. Now, for regular people who are not computer programmers, it doesn't really matter much. I suppose it matters in one sense, in that we who are not computer programmers can rest somewhat assured that there is nothing hidden in that code, because the many people working on open source code would have found it by now, right? So there is a value to open source. Now, with that background, let me tell you. Oh, and I should also mention that there's like LibreOffice, which is a free version, an open source version of Microsoft Word. There is a free version of PowerPoint. There's a free version of spreadsheets and of Excel. Free versions of Photoshop. The GIMP alternative to Photoshop is open source. So pretty much all the software that's out there that people use and pay for is available in open source form. All right, now let me go back to 2015. And Elon Musk was talking and writing quite a bit about his fears about artificial intelligence. So like he is with so many things, he was ahead of the curve. He knew what was going on back more than over 10 years ago, when a lot of people weren't really in the know about AI. And he was losing sleep over the concern that artificial intelligence was going to be a massive problem for humanity and probably wipe us out. So he was thinking about that 10, 15 years ago. Sam Altman, and this article does a really good job telling you his history about the companies that he founded and was fired from, and how he was with Y Combinator, which was a big investment for startups and venture capital and startup tech firms. So it gives you the whole history of his background. And at the point at which he decided that he wanted to run an AI company, who knows, maybe he saw the billions of dollars of income this would entail for him. But at that point, he reached out to Elon Musk and said, I share your concerns, Elon. This is the most dangerous thing in the world. Tell you what, give me $150 billion and we'll make sure to build it correctly. And we'll make sure to build it in such a way that it will not destroy humanity. We will build it with safety at the core. In fact, what we're going to build is a company that's not a for-profit company like Microsoft Word. It's going to be more like Linux. It's going to be more like GIMP. It's going to be more like these other programs where it's going to be open source. And Elon Musk took the bait. He said Sam Altman played him for a con. He called it the long game. It's really a good article. You should read it. It's just words in there and the phrasing. Ronan Farrow is a genius. He convinced Elon Musk that his goal in creating OpenAI and creating an artificial intelligence company that would compete with Google was a public service. And so it was called OpenAI. It was created as a nonprofit, a not-for-profit company. And they had all kinds of rules and guidelines in place to make sure that it would be safe, to make sure that it would be at the cutting edge of this very dangerous technology, to provide a counterbalance to the Googles of the world who were moving forward with it in a way that was potentially dangerous. So this OpenAI was meant to be open source. And by open source, I'm saying that all of the activities that it did were to have been released publicly released. The safety information was to have been first and foremost. They were going to devote, I want to say, a third of their computing power, some huge amount of their computing power was going to be devoted to safety research, because this was going to be a safety company. And as soon as Sam Altman got the billions of dollars from Elon Musk and other investors, he changed his tune. And so what this article in the New Yorker talks about is how he does this with everybody. And I have to say, the scariest part for me, when I'm reading through years and years and years of this, about how he promises certain things, and he says whatever the person he's talking to wants to hear, and he's really good at it. So he's really good at seeming like the most concerned about privacy or concerned about safety person you'll ever meet, or the most concerned about, fill in whatever it is that the person's interested in, and he will share that view and lean in and look in your eyes and say, I'm so glad to have met you, that you're the first person who shares my concerns. He just acts very sincere, and yet he lies and lies and lies and lies. And so as you read this article, the part that shocked me the most, and this is something I think all listeners and everybody in America needs to be aware of, is at one point this company, having thrown off the shackles of its nonprofit status, it's now a fully for-profit company, having thrown off the shackles of all of that safety work, they have dismissed their safety teams, they have fired their safety teams, they have slashed the budget for safety testing, and most of their safety researchers left long, long ago. The only people there now are the people willing to pretty much nod and sign off on whatever Sam Altman wants. At one point, after all of those changes, and Elon Musk even suing him because he says, he tricked me. He had all my money and tricked me into saying he's interested in privacy, or sorry, privacy is my thing, interested in safety, which should be all of our thing, that after all of that, he came up with a horrifying scheme. And the horrifying scheme was to, because he's sitting in the catbird seat with the most powerful power that has ever existed, and it is the most powerful thing on planet Earth, and if it's not yet, it soon will be. And they came up with a scheme to have countries bid in order to not have other countries use AI against them. And they called it the country plan. The people in the know who talked to Ronan Farrow said that they were absolutely scandalized and horrified, because Sam Altman was actually talking not about protecting humanity, not about protecting the United States, not about protecting anybody, but about enriching the company, and thus himself, enriching the company by having countries, nations, bid against each other to make sure that AI didn't destroy them. Is that horrifying? I think it's horrifying. There was another line in there where one of the executives, one of the former executives, and Ronan Farrow doesn't quote who it is, but one of the executives at OpenAI actually said, well, I'll back up. So they're building a gigantic incubator for artificial intelligence in the middle of the desert in the Middle East. And so Sam Altman has been trying to convince countries, because there's not too many countries, not too many entities in the world that can give you billions of dollars, and that's the level of funding that this thing requires in order to get the power that it needs, in order to get the computers that it needs, because it's voraciously hungry artificial intelligence. And so they actually got a massive investment from, I'll tell you, I'll give you all the details. All right, I'm Katherine Albrecht. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Health Simple with Colorado Shilajit. FactBit.
We live in a scary world, and things seem to get worse every day. Yet when you hear me on the radio, there's a spring in my step and a smile in my voice. How is that possible with all the bad news I have to plow through each day? The answer is a simple one. It's because of my relationship with God. I come to Him with my prayers, faith, and love, and He rewards me with protection, courage, and calm. He meets all my needs and opens doors for me when they need to be opened. God wants that kind of relationship with you too. To find the comfort and security that comes from knowing the God of the universe, the loving God who made you, you can start by reading the book of Matthew. It's the first book of the New Testament, about 2/3 of the way through your Bible. Pray before you begin reading. Ask God to touch your heart and let you feel His love. The Lord wants to save you from the ravening beast that's nipping at all of our heels. He wants to embrace you as His beloved child and meet all your needs. Give Him a chance to do it. Read the book of Matthew today. Hey, I'm back. Katherine Albrecht here. All right. I posted a link to the article in my chat room at Katherine-Albrecht.com. Click on the chat, the little listen live chat live button in the upper left-hand corner at Katherine-Albrecht.com, and you can see the link there to the New Yorker article by Ronan Farrow. Now, we know him because he is the son of Mia Farrow, and he is quite handsome. He is a journalist, though. He is not a movie star. He is not a model. He's not an actor. He is a journalist, and he's a heck of a journalist, may I say. So this article is in the New Yorker. Let me tell you what it's called, and it's very, very long. So get yourself a cup of coffee. Maybe print it out so you don't have to be staring at a screen all this time. It's a long article, but it's absolutely worth reading. By the time you finish this article, you will have a really good understanding of how the scary degree to which OpenAI and ChatGPT are being run by people who should not be running anything, much less something that threatens the entire future existence of humanity. All right, so the article is called Sam Altman May Control Our Future. Can he be trusted? New interviews and closely guarded documents shed light on the persistent doubts about the head of OpenAI. And there are many, many doubts about him. Ronan Farrow and Andrew Morantz are the two authors of this article. It came out on April 6th. And let me tell you some of the key juicy components of this. I don't know if this were printed out, it'd probably be about 10 pages long. It's a long, long article. It talks about so many aspects. It talks about his sister accuses him of sexually abusing her between she was 3 years old, he was 12, her entire growing up. He has denied it. His family has denied it. Okay, that's on there. It talks about the people who tried to oust him, get rid of him, get him off of the OpenAI board in 2023. Actually, his own board of directors tried to fire him as CEO and actually did vote to fire him. And he was able to get all the investors and all the people on board and say, you can't fire me. And then he kicked them off the board. They were firing him because they had documented all of his lies and his untrustworthiness, his squirreliness, and the fear that they had that a guy like that should not be in charge of a company with this amount of power. So OpenAI is no longer open, just to clarify based on what I was saying before. It's no longer open, it's no longer safe, it no longer has a safety team, and it is going off the rails, really. It is joining all the other AI companies, and they're out competing each other to see who can do who can remove their safety guidelines fastest. I had talked when I was on KHNC. I had talked about Anthropic, headed up by Dario Amodei, who left OpenAI to go do something safer, and they had a policy that said we will not allow the use of our AI, which is called Claude, Claude. We will not allow Claude to be used for military purposes or to man any unmanned drones or autonomous weapons, and we won't allow it for surveillance of the public. And President Trump said, well, then if you won't do that, we can't use you in the military, then we're going to consider you an enemy of the United States and a security risk, and it's going to destroy your company. So just an update on that in case you did hear my show on that on KHNC probably a week or two ago. He has caved. Anthropic has caved. They're now allowing the use of their product, Claude, for military purposes, and they've just joined all the rest of them. There is no AI company now of any size or magnitude or importance that is not just willing to do anything at all to make a buck. All right, so let me jump down here. I want to talk about this nation situation. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe this article. Anthropic. Okay, now it's Dario Amodei. Let me get down to the part about what they're building. So they're building this gigantic data center in the Middle East, and it's the United Arab Republic. Hang on. Thought I had it marked here. Here we go. All right. After Altman's firing, now remember he was fired briefly in 2023 and then he came back. The person he relied on most was a guy named, the Airbnb co-founder and one of Altman's fiercest loyalists named Chesky. Watching my friend stare into the abyss like that made me question some fundamental things of what it takes to run a company. So it's when he sort of inspires either fierce defenders or fierce opponents. Chesky's one of them. He then goes on and he says, all right, since the blip, right? So the blip is what they refer to as the blip when Sam Altman was almost kicked off and then came back. He has been in founder mode since then. In February 2024, the Wall Street Journal published a description of his vision for something called ChipCo. He conceived of it as a joint entity funded by an investment of $5 to $7 trillion. And he, in a tweet, he said, FK it, right? FK it. Why not 8 trillion? So, what's another trillion when you're already talking 5 to 7 trillion? Everyone was like, wait, what? Altman insisted at an internal meeting that safety teams had been looped in, and all of the safety teams then said, no, we absolutely were not looped in. All right, during this break, I'm going to find the exact part that I want to read you, and it's horrifying. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates, is on board, and yeah, all right, stay tuned.
Howdy, cousins. This is RBN host Blackbird 9, aka Frederick C. Blackburn, asking you to please support the Republic Broadcasting Network. Every day, RBN's mission is to use our collective voices to spread truth and relevant information, to gain a deeper understanding of the adversary, and to gain knowledge for survival against the gradual erosion of the Republic. But in order to sustain this incredible communications network, RBN needs your financial contributions. To donate, visit republicbroadcasting.org, call 1-800-724-2719, or mail your donations to 2251 Double Creek Drive, Suite 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Home is where the hearth is. In days gone by, the hearth was the center of the home, a social space where the family would come together to spend time and cook. The warmth of the Liberator rocket stove makes a house feel like a home. So welcome home. 100% American made, the Liberator rocket stove heats for a fraction of the cost of other methods. Your home can be safely heated with firewood, wood pellets, or twigs from your yard. The Liberator rocket heater is waiting to be part of your home. This unit ships directly to your door, or you can save $300 with a factory pickup. To order, go to thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com.
Tired of barely covering rent or utilities? What if you could add a real second income stream starting today? Hi, I'm John Moore, the Liberty Man. My friend Steve Ben Noon showed me LifeWave, and it changed everything for me. For just $295, grab the core membership and launch your own business. Perfect if you want to start small. Need more patches for the family or faster growth? Step up to advanced or go all in with premium for the biggest discounts on the famous X39 patches. Upgrade anytime, just pay the difference. It's that simple. I trusted Steve, I made the leap, and I've never looked back. Ready for your extra income? Visit thelibertyman.com right now, or call me personally at 314-965-3007. That's thelibertyman.com or 314-965-3007. Don't wait. Your financial freedom starts with one click or one call.
And back. Katherine Albrecht here, reading through Ronan Farrow's article on Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, or one of the founders of OpenAI, the guy who's been at the head of it and really drives its direction. That's the company that makes ChatGPT. If you're using ChatGPT, please stop. Please stop using AI. I recently heard a statistic that one image created in OpenAI or with ChatGPT is taking up a full day's worth of electricity, equivalent for 3 households for one picture. This thing is voraciously hungry. It's monstrously hungry. It wants all the computing power in the world. It is using up all of the silicon chips, all of the computing equipment. I know this because StartMail, the private email service that I'll be telling you about, that I advertise during my breaks, and they're my sponsor because I was a co-founder of StartMail and helped to create it back in 2013. The upgrades to our servers so we can do encryption to keep people's email private are going way up in price if they can even be found, because the servers and all of the computers are being bought out by the AI industry, thus making all of our computers more expensive. It's going to drive up the prices of cell phones. It's going to drive up the prices of all of the electronics for regular people, if we can even find them. So we're running into a big time shortage of what they call computer power. The electricity and the computing power and time and equipment to do all of this is all being drained into AI, into that swamp. All right, a couple of things I've highlighted here in the article I want to read you. This is the article in the New Yorker. Sam Altman is controlling our future, probably in charge of our future. Can he be trusted? And the answer after reading this is absolutely not. I knew he couldn't be trusted before, but after reading this, I'm just mortified that, of course, he can't be trusted at all. All right, so I'm scrolling down and down. This is like a 10-page article to get to my highlights here. And I'm going to read you this one. All right, so... and then wait till I get to the punchline about the portals. All right, Altman's fundraising pitch has evolved over the years, but it's always reflected the fact that developing AGI requires a staggering amount of capital. Now, AI, we know AI. What is AGI? So AI is artificial intelligence. AGI is artificial general intelligence, which is a pretty kind of ho-hum boring name for what it really means. What it means, AGI, artificial general intelligence, is the AI version that will exceed human capability, that will exceed our intelligence, that will be capable of doing far more than we can. Now, it seems already that AI is pretty close to that. It passed the Turing test. That's the test, I think, from the 1950s. Alan Turing had a test that you could subject a computer to see if it was human or not, and no computers were able to pass it. Now, the AI of today has passed the Turing test and, in fact, passes it better than real humans. It seems even more human than us. So the development of AGI requires a staggering amount of capital, i.e. cash. All right. He was following a scaling law. The more data and computing power you use to train AI models, the smarter they seem to get. The specialized chips that enable this process are enormously expensive. OpenAI, in its most recent funding round, that's where they get investor cash. And by the way, if your investments, if you're in, the retirement package and you're being invested into various things, you can actually request that your money not be invested in artificial intelligence. And I think that would be a very good thing to request, because if you are contributing to it, even indirectly, even through, well, that is direct, but even though you're not intentionally making the choice yourself to invest in it, if your, investment package is going in various places, and one of them is AI, and you're profiting from this industry, then you do have some blood on your hands. So I would say definitely contact your investment manager, whoever manages your portfolio, and say, I do not want to be investing in AI. All right, OpenAI, in its most recent funding round alone, getting money from investors, raised more than $120 billion. This was the largest private investment round in history and a sum 4 times larger than the biggest IPO ever in history. So this company has more money than any company has ever had. When you think about entities with $100 billion, this is a quote by a tech investor and an executive who is unnamed. But he says, quote, when you think about entities with $100 billion they can discretionarily spend per year, there are really only a handful in the world. Where are they going to get $120 billion? All right, here's what he said. There's the U.S. government, for the 4 or 5 biggest tech companies, and the Saudis and the Emiratis, United Arab Emirates, and that's basically it. Nobody else has that kind of money. So what did Sam Altman do? He then went to the United Arab Emirates in Saudi Arabia and said, I want money. And in order to get the money, he had to make them big promises. And this is the part that has me kind of scared. He first met Mohammed bin Salman, the country's crown prince and monarch, in 2016 at a dinner in San Francisco. He now refers to the prince, this is Prince Mohammed bin Salman, as a friend. And, hang on. Oh, and that's the guy. All right. I was like, I know who that guy is. In the following month, a hit squad reportedly acting on bin Salman's orders strangled the Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who had been critical of the regime, and then used a bone saw to dismember his corpse. So Sam Altman was bummed because he could not continue his relationship with him. Yet, he then went on to another source of cash, the United Arab Emirates, in the midst of a 15-year effort to transform from an oil state to a tech hub. And he got, let's see, and they gave him a car. They gave him a $2 million car. I didn't even know $2 million cars existed. I had to find this out. Altman was pursuing a sweeping geopolitical vision, quietly recruiting talent for a new plan called ChipCo, where Gulf states would provide tens of billions of dollars for the construction of huge microchip foundries and data centers to be situated in the Middle East. Yeah, and he even told Jeff Bezos that he could be the guy in charge of it, the CEO in charge of it, head up the new company. I think Jeff Bezos said no. All right, so he got a ton of money. AI capacity may soon displace oil or enriched uranium as the resource that dictates the global balance of power. Altman has said that computing power is the currency of the future. All right. So meanwhile, here we are, using ChatGPT. I don't use it. I won't touch it. I will never touch it. I can't converse with it. Don't want to have a conversation with it. Don't want any of its gifts. But the average American is using it sort of here and there, using it or befriending it or conversing with it, doing whatever with it, using it to help with their taxes or using it to help with translations or using it to help with trip planning or whatever people use AI for to figure out, summarize articles or do their proofreading. And what we're not understanding is that while we are doing our daily, a 50-cent word here, quotidian, meaning daily activities, our sort of boring daily activities using AI, that we are fueling and funding something that is bigger than anything humanity has ever experienced before, ever thought about before. There are, what I just read, only a couple of entities in the world that have that kind of money. And those are the entities, whether it's the United Arab Emirates, whether it is the top tech companies, whether it is the Jeff Bezoses of the world, the people with that kind of money are going to be at the beck and call of AI. They're going to be under AI's thumb because we're all going to be under AI's thumb. But what's important for people to recognize is that this is not about the slop that you're listening to on the radio. It's not about the slop that you're seeing in everybody's writing. This is about something involving global military balances of power. And it's going to come to the point, I want to get to the part about the country plan here. It's going to come to the point where we're all going to wake up one day and we're going to realize that all of these huge movements have been happening. This is like tectonic plate shifting. This is like entire continents moving. And meanwhile, we're busy staring at our own navels, focusing on our own phones, thinking about the news du jour, the scandal du jour that they try to distract us with, while these huge changes are happening that affect the future of humanity. And when you understand the enormity of the changes, and you read this article, and you understand what kind of a person is in charge of these changes, it will send a chill down your spine. Sam Altman is not the person who should be in charge even of, running a preschool, much less determining the future of the human race. And that's exactly what he's doing. All right, now I'm going to read you the shocking quote here. Let me tell you about the car first. All right, so he got some gifts from these Saudi Arabians, and when he was asked about him, he said, I'm not going to say what gifts they've given me specifically, but world leaders have given me gifts. He added, we have a standard policy that every gift from any potential business partner is disclosed to the company. Okay. Altman has at least 2 hypercars. You guys probably heard of this. I'd never heard of it. An all-white Koenigsegg Regera worth $2 million and a red McLaren F1 worth $20 million. In 2024, he was spotted driving the Regera $20 million car through Napa, California. A few seconds of video made its way onto social media. Altman, in a low-slung bucket seat, peering out the window of a gleaming white machine. A tech investor, aligned with Elon Musk, posted the footage on X saying, I'm going to start a nonprofit next. Yeah, $20 million car. All right, Altman met with the Biden administration Back in that era, they enacted a policy requiring White House approval for the export of sensitive technology. Sam Altman has cozied up to Donald Trump and flown around with him and been seen at events with him. Donald Trump said some really very nice things about him publicly. You know, you're an important guy and you're one of my friends and I really like you. And he has stripped away those export controls and the security controls. When Dario Amodei of Anthropic said you can't use military things, we're not willing to do that. Sam Altman said, oh, we will. We will. Trust OpenAI. We'll let you use us for anything you want. Doesn't matter how unethical. We're right here. You know, give us money. All right, now here's the one. In May, the Trump administration rescinded Biden's export restrictions on artificial intelligence technology. That's exactly what Sam Altman wanted. Because if it is of military importance, we should not be exporting this. We should not be making it available to our enemies, our potential enemies. But the Trump administration has eliminated those restrictions on AI technology being exported. You can't even export, I mean, there's all sorts of even basic technologies that cannot be exported because they could be misused by our enemies. AI, I would say, is at the top of that list. Altman and Trump together traveled to the Saudi royal court to meet with bin Salman. That's the same guy who had that journalist killed. Around that same time, the Saudis advertised the launch of a giant government-backed, this is the Saudi government, AI firm in the kingdom with billions to spend on international partnerships. About a week later, Altman laid out his plan for something called Stargate to expand into the United Arab Emirates. The company plans to build a data center campus in Abu Dhabi that is 7 times bigger than Central Park and consumes as much electrical power as the city of Miami. All right, now here is the quote that blew my mind. You ready for this quote? The truth of this, said a former OpenAI executive to Ronan Farrow for this article, the truth of this, we're building portals from which we are genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has just added one in the Middle East. He went on and said, I think it's just like wildly important to get how scary that should be. It is the most reckless thing that has ever been done. All right, that's what we're up against, my friends. And the only reason that we can sleep at night, the only reason that we are not spending every spare moment biting our nails to the quick over this, is that we don't know about it. The public is not being informed. We are being distracted with the dog and pony shows and the smoke and mirrors and the all of the distractions of all of the other things. And when AI comes up at all, it comes up as, these little stories. And they're important stories, and I tell them on my website at realisgood.org, Fighting AI, stories about people who are marrying their chatbots, stories about the man who AI convinced him that his 83-year-old mother was poisoning him because she was a foreign agent trying to kill him. And so he strangled her and then turned around and stabbed his own self to death. I've never heard of anybody stabbing themselves to death, but he did. He is one of many people. The company, OpenAI, ChatGPT, that Sam Altman sits at the top of, has 7 lawsuits, 7, count them, against them for encouraging suicide, encouraging homicide, for encouraging one young man to an 18-year-old to take a combination of drugs over many, many months that ChatGPT coached him in. You can take this, you can combine it with that, until he finally died of an overdose and his mother suing the company. So there's 7 lawsuits against this company. These are the people who survived to even, or had survivors to even mount a lawsuit. Most of the people who have died because of ChatGPT's advice did not have family members who knew even how to contact a lawyer or get a lawsuit against them, or even knew they needed to or could. We know that 100,000 people a day, this was 6 months ago, it's probably like 5 times that amount now, are in openly psychotic mindsets talking to ChatGPT because of ChatGPT. They actually monitor the conversations. If you are conversing with an AI and you think you have any privacy, think again. Last fall, somebody was doing a Google search and they looked something up about themselves, and they actually found an entire log of all of their ChatGPT conversations available for free for anyone who wanted to read them on the internet. They are reviewing those conversations. They are extracting information from them. It's not private. It's not, if you have an AI therapist, it's not like a real therapist where there's any kind of confidentiality or privacy or any doctor or patient privilege, any lawyer privilege. If you talk to AI about anything sensitive, you can absolutely guarantee that it is available for people to see. Horrifying, horrifying stuff. So this is big. This is big. All right, I'm Katherine Albrecht. My website is katherine-albrecht.com. Like and subscribe on my YouTube channel at Katherine Albrecht Show. And I'll be right back here on RBN. Stay tuned.
I've been using the X39 LifeWave patches every day since December 2023. The X39 patches help with pain relief and my strength and stamina. Proper use of the X39 has been proven to significantly increase human GHKCU copper peptides in the body. Increasing the human production of copper peptides has been proven to increase healthy stem cell activity. Wear the X39 for 12 hours a day, giving yourself a 12-hour break before applying a new patch. Do this for 6 to 12 months. Continue daily use to maintain your health benefits and get regular checkups with your healthcare provider to track any internal progress you may not have noticed. It's quite extraordinary to be able to use the same technology used by U.S. Navy SEALs. The SEALs rely on LifeWave patches to accomplish their missions. Get started with the X39 at thelibertyman.com. If you don't have internet access, just call John Moore at 314-965-3007. That's 314-965-3007.
Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit drinksupertea.com. The first word is drink, spelled D-R-I-N-K, then the word super, then the word tea. The complete website is drinksupertea.com. Or call us at 818-965-9113, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-965-9113, drinksupertea.com.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was doing not good things, and I did not want to go to a medical doctor because I just knew they would give me a cover-up pill. I didn't want to get onto that sort of thing at all. When I learned it was garlic and cayenne is a healer. It is a wonderful herb. I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
All right, final segment. Hour 2 here. Katherine-Albrecht.com is my website, and I posted a link to this. You can find it if you look, if you do a search for Sam Altman, A-L-T-M-A-N. By the way, Elon Musk calls him Scam Altman. That was kind of funny. Sam Altman, A-L-T-M-A-N. He is the head of OpenAI and former CEO. Now the CEO is... Brockman is now our CEO, and I got to tell you what he said. All right, now I found the country's plan. This is horrifying. He proposed that OpenAI could enrich itself by playing world powers, including China and Russia, against each other, perhaps by starting a bidding war among them. So as soon as they get AGI, the AI that is so powerful that it exceeds all of our power combined, then here's what they want to do. They want to bid to see which country will pay the most. Start a bidding war, playing the world powers, China and Russia, against each other, starting a bidding war. The other shareholders and executives and members of the board were, quote, aghast. The premise, which they did not dispute, was, hang on, we are talking about the most destructive technology ever invented, and what if we sell it? What if we sell it to Putin? All right, so people were completely horrified. Internally, this plan came to be known as the, quote, country's plan. According to several people involved and contemporaneous documents, that means documents produced around that same time that Ronan Farrow has reviewed, OpenAI executives seem to grow extremely excited about this plan. Brockman's goal, that's the CEO, according to Jack Clark, OpenAI's policy director at the time, was, quote, get this, to set up a prisoner's dilemma, basically, where all of the nations will have to give us funding. And implicitly, that makes not giving us funding kind of dangerous. A junior researcher recalls thinking that the plan, as detailed at a company meeting, this is completely effing insane. And it is. So those are the kind of people who are developing the most powerful thing that humanity has ever created, the most powerful thing that humanity ever will create, and they are acting like children on the playground with it. They have already thrown to the wind all of their security concerns, and now all they're looking for is money and power, and that's it. And all of us here, playing our our video games and sitting on our phones and surfing the web and doing whatever it is our doom scrolling has us doing, are completely oblivious to the enormity of what's coming our way. And the person at the head of it really needs to, I don't know what we need to do. I no longer know, because the huge investors who have spent billions on this, they're not going to rest until this just has all the brakes removed and goes as fast as possible, because they're going to make a lot of money. Sam Altman, if you go to my website at realisgood.org, you can actually see a quote. I think click on AI crimes, scroll down, and you'll see Sam Altman, and you can click on him saying, I think this technology is going to destroy humanity, but in the meantime, we'll have some really great companies and make a lot of money. So that's what we're up against. All right, Katherine Albrecht here. Join us. Join the resistance against AI at realisgood.org. Check out my website at katherine-albrecht.com. Check out my YouTube page. I am adding new cool stuff to it all the time. And so be sure to subscribe so you get a notification about it. All right, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. God bless you. Thanks so much for listening. And we'll see you then. All right.